On this segment, we're here with Dr. Smayda, and thank you for taking a moment out of your schedule to be with us. Tell us a bit about yourself to start out with, because you are involved in circumstances that have to do with nutrition that help a lot of people. And a lot of people think they know a lot about it, but then all of a sudden you bring some things to the table and it wakes people up. Tell us a bit about yourself and how you, who you are.
Well, Art, I've been working in natural medicine since childhood, and not realizing that throughout the years, patients and the general public want integrative medicine. They want the natural things that are found in the earth, and even some of the major cancer centers and hospitals have their own websites about natural medicines and herbs on the internet, and the public wants a better way. And we started with aspirin many years ago, which comes from a tree, and there are 250,000 plants on the earth, and medicines that are derived from them are about 25%. So since I was very young, I've been studying edible plants, and now 30 years later, after starting my journey in natural medicine, we apply those principles to help people heal themselves. And so some of the biggest players in degenerative disease and most of the inflammation we see is the precursor to heart disease, to cancer, to brain inflammation, to cardiovascular and cerebrovascular disease. And so, the founder of osteopathic medicine, I'm a board-certified family doctor, said that the artery is supreme. Well, the artery is supreme, and the matrix that is in that artery is critical. And so the brain is the most sensitive organ to loss of oxygen, loss of glucose, and the brain conducts all of our body systems and how we are in, as we say in medicine, homeostasis or balance. So, the best medicines work with a good diet, with integrative nutrition. And so what I have spent many years studying and am fully engaged in looking at is how to help people heal their bodies, become more engaged in nutritional and exercise and anti-inflammatory
the whole
practices.
program. Let me ask you a question, because today a lot of people have been maybe hammered with from a lot of different directions on the same types of things you're talking about, and not everyone has it all put together. They still are often in the medical fields trying to get you to take all these medicine. Tell us a little about, people have they want answers to questions, the kind you have. When they're seeking nutritional answers, how do they find what they want that they can rely on? That's a good question, because a lot of people are hunting for that.
Well, I can tell you, overall, people on one extreme believe that nutrients are going to cure everything. On the other extreme, they think maybe pharmaceuticals are going to cure everything. But the marriage of the pharmaceuticals and the nutrition and the nutraceuticals is going to create a revolution, which is starting. Even one of the major cancer centers now is purporting cranberry extract with chemotherapy. So the future there is no alternative over there. There is no complementary. Why do you have to complement the best there is? The holistic with an H in the hole in outer space somewhere. People don't want esoteric. We want common sense. And what we call that is integrative evidence-based medicine, the marriage of natural medicine and conventional medicine. And we've spent many years as doctors and healers doing that. If you marry that with technology, the technology of laboratory analysis verifies that these plants and these substances that are eventually converted into even pharmaceuticals are superior to what we've done in the past. And so we're just beginning to scratch the surface with nutraceuticals.
You have a practice in New York, do you not?
I work on Park Avenue, and as I was saying earlier, we treat the brain. Well, the brain is the most sensitive organ, and so that brain, even, we know that there's one substance, Nigella sativa, Now, major centers are studying that, and we know it can actually help cognitive enhancement. And so that's just one aspect, but basically we're looking at nutrients that hit every body system, that have properties to be anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, lower hepatitis levels, like hepatitis C. I don't want to get too medical.
So let me ask you this. So the most important thing, if somebody's listening, okay, all of us today are being bombarded by things that can introduce cancer and other things, more so than ever before, right?
This is correct. And, whether it's dietary or something the person's breathing or something that's in the water or something they work with, the balance is really going to be at the molecular level. If the body is balanced molecularly, at the oxidative level, we're looking at micro amounts of substances that can damage healthy tissues and cause cells to do abnormal things. And so we're basically teaching people how to fight that war at the micro level, the nano level, the molecular level, to actually protect them from dis-ease and have ease, which is homeostasis, which is balance. So basically it's a defensive and it's an offensive against disease.
How about inflammation? How does inflammation play into life? I mean, people have pains, they have things going on, they don't even know what is what sometimes, they just know they're in pain. How do you, is inflammation a big part of what goes on?
Well, inflammation is critical to almost every disease, whether it's inflammatory, traumatic, electrical, chemical, rheumatologic, arthritic. Inflammation is frequently the precursor to every disease and concomitant problem with those diseases. And so we're actually looking at levels of interleukins, prostaglandins, and substances, tumor necrosis alpha, and erythrocyte sedimentation rate, that when you talk to inflammatory rheumatologic doctors that talk about this inflammation all day, every day, and they're smiling when they hear that these natural substances can work synergistically with the drugs. And many of the drugs are even derived from extracts from roots and where the bacteria was in the root. So, the future is ultimately we're looking at substances that are going to block inflammation, help arthritis, help cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, and pain syndromes.
So how does someone find help? I know, like that, what you're saying, you're very knowledgeable, and they can hear more from you at your website, which we have on the screen. But how do they find what they're looking for to get relief? What's their first step?
Well, the first step is if they're searching the internet, it can be very confusing. So we wouldn't say, do a random search of the internet, although they're always going to get good information, but there's a lot of information. And I'm on Medline, and I'm on the web every day, all day, looking for references and integration of all of these substances that are going to really help people find a cure. But I would say there are many different sources of information, and if they wanted to inquire on my website, drsmayda.com.
You can help direct them.
Yeah, Healthy Thinking at live.com. I can help direct them, and we can even find them places that help them figure out the cause of their disease. And
obviously, it's a complicated area, but at the same time, there's a lot of simple solutions. And I just want to encourage anybody listening to this or watching, go to the website or make a phone call, but you will help people if they contact you, email or whatever?
Well, we can help direct them, whether it's a hospital they need or it's a nutrient that they have information about. We can send them to the right sources. There are health food stores with knowledgeable people. There are practitioners that will be able to help them and really help them find their recipe for them, not a pre-canned treatment out of a cookbook. Help those people find their blueprint for healing.